I was born into a house where silence felt heavier than words. From my earliest memory, I remember my mother waking before the sun, her steps quiet, her eyes tired, carrying a weight I could not understand. Everything about her life seemed careful, controlled, and full of unspoken pain. She never raised her voice, never demanded attention, never cried in front of me. Even as a child, I could feel the difference between our home and others. Happiness felt like a stranger we had never met. I never knew my father. There was no photograph on the wall, no stories about him, no memory I could hold on to. When I asked my mother about him, she would pause, and after a long silence, she would say that some people leave without ever learning how to stay. That answer became my reality. I accepted it, even though I did not understand it, because I could see the sadness hidden in her eyes. Our house was small, but it carried more than just furniture. It carried the weight of judgment, whispers, and cold stares from relatives. My mother worked tirelessly cleaning other people's houses, washing floors, scrubbing walls, and returning home exhausted. Her back ached, her hands were rough, and yet she smiled for me every day. Her strength was quiet but unyielding, and I admired her, even when I could not fully understand the sacrifices she made. Relatives never missed an opportunity to remind her of the life she chose wrong. Their words were sharp, their stares colder, and their silence screamed louder than any insult. Sometimes they spoke in front of me as if I were invisible, as if I were proof of a mistake. I learned early how to lower my eyes, how to shrink in her presence, how to disappear when their judgment became too heavy. But through it all, my mother never stopped moving, never stopped smiling, never stopped living. At school, children asked questions that hurt more than they knew. Why does your mother work so much? Why does no one pick you up? Why do you live like this? I learned to smile and give soft answers, to protect my mother's honor even when my heart broke quietly inside. Every night she would sit beside me, not telling me stories or singing lullabies, but reminding me to dream. She said dreams were the only place where no one could hurt me, the only space that belonged entirely to me. As I grew older, I began noticing the secrets she carried. There was a small locked box in her room, letters carefully folded, and photographs torn in half. I felt their weight before I even knew their meaning. Something in me wanted to ask, but fear held my tongue. I was afraid that breaking her silence might shatter her, or worse, reveal a truth too painful for me to carry. She sold her jewelry piece by piece to pay for my education. Each piece felt like a part of her life disappearing forever. She lived in her parents' house, yet she never truly belonged there. She ate last, she spoke last, she suffered quietly, and I watched in silence, my heart aching for her. Her life was a series of small sacrifices, invisible to the world, but monumental to me. One night, unable to bear it any longer, I asked her why everyone treated us with such cruelty. She looked at me for a long time, her eyes carrying the weight of decades of pain, and then she told me the truth. She loved my father and chose him over fear, but when the pressure came, he chose silence and left, abandoning her to face judgment, shame, and responsibility alone. She was pregnant, alone, and the world turned its back on her. Her family allowed her to return, but forgiveness never followed. They gave her shelter, but not respect. I realized in that moment that her silence was not weakness, it was survival. She had carried the burden of love, loss, and judgment for years, and yet she continued to live with dignity, teaching me the same resilience by example. As the years passed, proposals for marriage came and went, fading the moment anyone learned about my mother. I felt a growing anger toward the world, at times toward her too, questioning if my life would have been easier had she chosen differently. The thought haunted me often, but it never erased the admiration I had for her strength. One night I asked her directly if she ever regretted choosing me over everything else. Her hands trembled as she held my face, her eyes full of tears and memories. She whispered that I was never her regret, that I was the only reason she continued, the only reason she survived the world's cruelty. That night I cried in her arms, ashamed of every harsh thought I had ever had toward her, realizing that her love had been my life's anchor all along. Years later, my father returned. Older, accomplished, and full of apologies. My mother faced him with calm strength and told him that fear is also a choice. I felt nothing toward him because the woman who raised me stood beside me, unwavering and true. When he left, my mother finally cried, not for him, but for the years she had lost, for the sacrifices she endured, and for the love that was never returned. I learned that love does not need validation from the world. My mother taught me that strength can exist in silence, that courage can be quiet, and that sacrifice does not require recognition. She raised me not as a victim of her circumstances, but as a child who could rise above them. The world judged her, ignored her, and rejected her, yet she never stopped giving. I understood then that surviving such pain with dignity was the truest form of victory. Today, I walk through life carrying her lessons in my heart. People still judge, still whisper, still point out differences, but I do not hear them. Because I know the person who shaped me, who loved me, and who survived every storm for my sake. Love that survives silence becomes unbreakable, and that is what my mother taught me. Even now, when I close my eyes, I see her waking before sunrise, moving quietly through our small house, smiling despite the world's cruelty. I see her strength, her sacrifices, her endless patience. I feel her heartbeat guiding mine, reminding me that even in the darkest life can teach courage, even when the world tries to break you. And I know, with absolute certainty, that her love will live inside me forever, a testament to what it truly means to survive and to love without expectation.